Y'all status Bill Hubble. I bought Lennox Mall for my brothers. Sold your bag, told the cutter. I got it out the field, fuck Russell. Going as L'Oreal about the paddock, then going as Jordan, that's dead. For leak water, trying to drown a bitch. It's a habit, tricking on a bitch. Shit, I'm thinking I'm crippin' a pimp. Shit, I'm cooking up dope like a dump. Shit, like her friends gon' sit nigga trim. Shit, I'm floating, I'm out in the blimp. Shit, it look like I'm swimming in glass. Shit, I turn on my bitch cause she bad. Shit, I'm making my ex nigga mad. Shit, they go for that number for mad. Real nigga learn them, in the bag. Piping a bitch and they nail like I can. Turn up the shooters with switches go bad. Stay with some scammers, but no one's for pain. Trapping no rapping, my dog, he fall off. No capping, no bound.
What it do, what it do, what it do, what it do. It's Sunday, man. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe it, man. For real. Self-made hustle. Self-made hustle. Hustle is in you. Hustle is in you. Hustle is in you, not on you. Self-made. Self-made hustle. We got to start it off by a jam. I got a little content for y'all, but it's a little bit different today, though. I feel like I gotta help some young hustlers out today, so that's what I'm gonna do, man. So after this jam, we're gonna get into the content, y'all. Oh, it would only be right if it was some type of hustling music, Who better than that boy?
Everybody wanna be like Z. Y'all can't be like Z.
Look at my wrist. You ain't ballin' like this. He ain't fucking with cuz.
I came so far from the bottom, couldn't even see the top. Just as soon as I feel the drought, I'm whipping up every block. I'm a good God-fearing man with a criminal mind state. Ain't nobody gave a shit, and that's why we grind weight. My grandma off in the church, while I'm in the refrigerator, in search of the baking soda right next to the mashed potatoes. She praying for better days, I'm praying to take this water. Realest the stunning shit, put that day on my mother's daughter. I won't deny it. I won't deny my lessons as a hustler. I'm a straight hustler. I won't deny it. My lessons as a hustler. I'm a straight hustler. I won't deny it. My lessons as a hustler. I'm a straight hustler. I won't deny it. It's Mr. Trapper Guy. Yeah, y'all remember me. First album was a classic, them critics weren't feeling me. Now as far as award shows, we all know how that goes. So what's all the doubt about? Because he ain't selling out, because he ain't giving up, because he don't give a fuck, because he ain't changing up. I guess he ain't lame enough. Hey, just know I'm saying enough, let you play with my setting. It gives a fuck what you think of me, let you feel.
came from the bottom, nigga. You know the type of shit black dog, cause you're a real nigga. I ain't like these niggas. I'm still your favorite rapper. Yeah.
Might not just be the best, just know I plan to be. I refuse to let suckers win, but that's just the man in me. Look, it could be the G in me. These niggas ain't seeing me unless they see me in traffic and something topic and drastic. I say I grind like it's 10 of me. I swear to God, it's just one of me. Look, I know I ain't there yet, just know that I'm gonna be. I could wait to see the day I can change what my mama stay. Put the BS behind me, it's too much money in front of me.
Man, shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to y'all, man. I shout out to the onlookers. Shout out to the people that don't hang around and wait for the content, man. Y'all might like what's going on. So I feel like I'm obligated since a nigga been in the streets. And you know I read a lot. You know, like some of these goofy ass content creators, they can't read. You know, it's plain they can't read by the way they blog, you know. So I was reading this book, man. Like this book is called, you know how they got 48 Laws of Hustling, man. They got a book called 48 Laws of Power. They got a book called 48 Laws of Power. Well, they also got a book called 48 Laws of Hustling, which it you know, it's kind of incriminating and all that, but hey, man, if it's out there for free and you hustling, man, you need to take heed to this shit right here, boy. What he say in here, man? If you apply this to your grind, I ain't gonna say you may go unscathed, but man, it make a lot more sense, man. I'm just being honest, y'all. Like this with reading this right here is man, you could add this to your repertoire, man, and do good shit if you're trying to be out there in the streets. Don't just be out there with your head cut out, man. We gonna get into this real fast, man.
Never get high off your own
The first rule. That's the first rule I was taught.
supply. Be
Rule
sober.
number one.
Be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. 1 Peter 5:8. Of course, everybody doesn't follow the rules, but the first law of this book is just as old as the game of hustling itself. You might recall a scene in the movie Scarface when Frank gives Tony Montana the game and tells him not to get high off his own supply. Needless to say, Frank was higher than Giraffe's pussy as he explained the rules. Likewise, Tony also began using his own supply during the course of the movie, which also led to his downfall
Appreciate
along
you.
with some
Thank you,
pre-action
man.
field events.
Man, thank
I
you.
always wonder how the movie would have turned out with a sober
Y'all
Tony
listen
Montana.
to this, man.
Had
Listen.
not Tony been snorting cocaine, he probably would have made better decisions and could have avoided going to war with the drug lord Sosa. Sosa told Tony not to ever fuck him. Unfortunately, Tony wasn't focused because he was using his own supply. In previous years, I've seen many hustlers not only ruin their life, but spin their wheels hustling just to support their drug habit. They initially got in the game to make thousands of dollars, and over the years, they look back at their life only to see that they spent thousands of dollars getting high. At one point during my earlier days of experiment within the drug industry, I tried to obey law number 1 by substituting what I sold by getting high off a different drug. For example, when I was selling regular weed, instead of smoking it, I would smoke hydroponic weed.
Been there, man. Been there. Been there.
When I sold blow, instead of using it, I took ecstasy. I felt
Been there.
that as long as I wasn't using the drug I was selling, I was obeying the rules, focused, and saving money. In reality, I wasn't doing any of those things. Yet, I was as much as a drug addict and consumer as the dope fiends I served. It took me going broke in many days of self-analyzing while looking in the mirror before I could see the imbalance in my thinking. Men lie and women lie, but the numbers don't lie. If a crackhead buys a $20 rock a day, that's $7,300 a year. If someone buys a $20 sack of weed a day,
hey, listen. So if a smoker buy 20 rock a day, it's $7,300, and he a dope fiend, right? He's a drug abuser, a heavy drug abuser, right? Okay, you buy a 20 bag of weed every day, nigga. It's still the same $7,300. So what make you different than him? Hey man, this book is hell right
It's
here, boy.
also $7,300 a year. A $50 a day habit is $18,250 a year. Most of us can think of a lot we could do right now with $18,250.
Yeah.
Some hustlers have habits that exceed this amount. Cigarettes and alcohol can be just as expensive. A real hungry hustler recognizes that any drug habit is a liability and is not beneficial to success, whether it's what he's selling or not. Furthermore, a sober mind will always be more focused than a mind that has been altered by drugs or alcohol. The minute you become addicted to any type of drug, it's imperative to admit your addiction and seek professional help, especially if you find it too hard to quit on your own. Otherwise, you will no longer be the hustler, but you will be the customer. It doesn't matter how cool a rapper or a movie star looks doing drugs. It's not cool.
Yeah.
Whether it's sipping syrup, popping a molly, or just smoking chronic. As a hustler, your job is to get money, period. I began using examples of drugs first because that's the most common error for anybody who hustles and deals with drugs. However, getting high off your own supply certainly doesn't just mean the use of illegal substances. It can also be for the doctor or pharmacist who prescribes pain medication, but has developed an addiction for the drugs that he or she prescribes. It could also be the restaurant owner who indulges in the food being served so much that he or she suffers from obesity. Maybe it's the store owner who takes too much from inventory for personal use that there's never a noticeable profit.
Yes.
Being able to sustain whatever type of business you run requires a certain level of discipline.
You got to understand, it ain't just, why do you think so many people, so many drug dealers can transform their life into the regular business field and excel? Because they take a lot of them morals and rules and breakdowns of the hustle game and use it in the business field. And it elevates you. Ain't nothing more dangerous than a businessman / a real hustler, street hustler. Bro, them the most dangerous people there is, man. That mean that nigga smart in the books. I mean, you can't mess over him.
Discipline is to have self-control. Lack of discipline leads to failure, while the foundation of discipline leads to success. You can never control any situation unless you first master the art of controlling yourself. This includes controlling your habits. To be disciplined, you must first be consciously aware of your actions. Ask yourself, what is it that you want in life? Are you willing to make the necessary sacrifices to attain it? If so,
I always say I'm disciplined. I ain't the best disciplined motherfucker, but I'm disciplined, nigga, when it comes to my responsibilities, bro. I'm disciplined. It don't matter when it comes to your responsibilities, bro. I can't nothing get in the way of that, bro. And I'm gonna do anything that I gotta do to take care of my business.
Make a commitment to stop doing anything that is not lifting you in a direction where you would like to be. There's no limit to what you can accomplish with a clear, focused, sober mind. Call to action. Write down one self-defeating habit or behavior that you believe you need to overcome and decide today that you will leave it alone. Did you know if a defendant recklessly created a substantial risk of death or serious bodily injury to another person while fleeing from a law enforcement officer, his offense level will be increased by 2 levels.
So now we're gonna go to number 2. That was number 1. Don't use what you sell. I remember the OGs told me when I was little, man, when I put this shit in your hand, young nigga, rule number 1, this shit is made for flipping and not tripping. I mean, it's not made to get high on, bro. It's made for you to survive on, bro. We're going to get into number 2.
Law number 2, never shit where you sleep. He that troubleth his own house shall inherit the wind.
You know what it means, never shit where you sleep. Meaning don't hustle where you stay at, where you lay your head at, man.
And a fool shall be servant to the wise of heart. Proverbs 11:29. This law, never shit where you sleep, can either make you or break you. If you don't know what it means, it simply means that under any circumstances do you sell drugs at your place of residence.
Period.
There are too many reasons why not to for me to explain in detail. Assuming everybody has common sense, why would you sell drugs or conduct any type of illegal activity at all from your home? However, common sense isn't so common after all. If you are involved in the underworld or may be curious about hustling, You might have heard of some drug dealer whose house was raided by the police. If you don't know about it personally, maybe you saw it on the evening news. Most of the time when the police raided that person's home, they almost always confiscate an amount of guns and or drugs. Many drug dealers, ironically, do not live in poverty-stricken
Oh
neighborhoods.
yeah, man. You know I
Some
was
tend to
coming.
stay in nice
You
suburban
know I was
neighborhoods around
coming.
law-abiding
You
citizens.
know I was coming.
These neighborhoods sometimes have neighborhood watch programs that all of the neighbors do not know about. When these law-abiding citizens get together and notice continuous traffic in their neighborhood going to a particular house, it raises antennas of suspicion, especially if that particular neighbor doesn't ever go to work or seem to have a job like fellow neighbors. But it's all
I'm explaining to you. I got a homeboy who did that. I got a homeboy who got his paper up, moved to Pflugerville around Rock in a newly built neighborhood. Got it. He got his paper right. The white people in the neighborhood kept seeing the slab come in and out the garage. This nigga coming way from over there, coming to the east side every day, going running. You know how when we in the streets, we running in and out the house. In them white neighborhoods, they watching that shit, man. They watch that, man. They watch you run in and out the house. They nosy. You know, we just as hustlers, we want more. We feel like we deserve to stay in a nicer neighborhood, but we don't pay attention to our movements, bro. We continue doing the same type of stuff we was doing on the east side. And we can't do that on the west side, man. You got to be cautious when you going in and out them neighborhood, man. White folks watching you, bro. Pull that motherfucker in and out. My nigga got popped. You know what I'm saying?
always remind their home, throwing parties, and has a driveway full of cars. A dead giveaway is most of the automobiles are not regular vehicles, but carry names like Benz, Lincoln, Cadillac, BMW, or some other type of luxury vehicle that doesn't fit the profile of someone who is unemployed. Neighbors will not only become curious of your activity, but they will also become jealous and sell what they see. Most criminals who get raided do so because they served a confidential informant from the luxury of their residence, which gave the judge a reason to issue a search warrant. Sometimes the cops will come right after the delivery was made, or they may wait for a few days. When they do come, the object is to not have anything illegal on the premises that they can hide your ass for.
That's exactly.
When you keep and or sell something from your home, you not only put yourself at risk of a buying bust by law enforcement, you make yourself a target for stick-up kids and jackals. If you have family at your home, you also put them at risk. There are competing drug dealers and robbers in the underworld who have no respect or regard for human life whatsoever, no matter who it is. It's not only inconsiderate to put your family in harm's way of these type of ruthless criminals, but it's downright stupid. If someone goes into the home of a drug dealer and steals his drugs and all of his money, who is he going to call for help? 911? I doubt that very seriously.
I'm
He's
telling
just
you.
jacked and he has to charge his loss to the game.
I'm telling
Never
you.
shit where you sleep. Assuming that every hustler is not necessarily a drug dealer, this particular law can still be applied to whatever kind of business you have. It's true that doing business from the confinement of your home has many tax breaks, depending on what.
Hey y'all, the law. And I'm just keeping it fucking with y'all. I don't even sell drugs now. And if somebody probably broke in my house now and they didn't get caught and not unalived them, I probably wouldn't call the laws either because I've done it before and they done nothing. You just putting the laws in your business. That's all you doing. They ain't finna go hunt down the TV that was stolen. Trust me, they not finna go hunt down that TV that was stolen, bro, at your house or that PS5. Nigga, you just putting the laws in your business, bro.
What kind of business you have, but you still must be careful in the way you conduct your transactions. For instance, if you have a business working from home, don't use your home address. Get a P.O. box. It's even possible to work from home while using a virtual office with an address in almost any city in America. These virtual offices usually have space that you can rent for conference meetings with clients and offer answering services for your business phone line. Exploring these options is not just safer, but it's much more professional than trying to close a deal inside your living room. No matter what type of hustle or business you are involved in, never shit where you sleep. Calls to action. Write down an incident in the past that you conducted business from home or a business transaction that you plan on doing in the near future that could have or will be more safer or professional if conducted somewhere else besides your home. Did you know if you commit a crime while you on release in connection with another federal offense, then the final offense level for your crime will be increased by 3 levels?
Hey.
Law number 3. Watch how you talk on the phone.
Hey.
A fool's mouth is his destruction, and his lips are the snare.
But I'll tell y'all about the phones, man. You got 5 minutes, man. You got 5 minutes to talk to me. Even my girl. Bro, I don't talk on the phones, bro. I got homeboys who went down the drain fucking with the phones, man. I just don't talk on the phone. I don't. You got 5 minutes, man. If you ain't my mama, you ain't my girl can talk to me longer than 5 minutes though sometimes. But nigga, I don't talk on the phone for longer than 5 minutes, nigga. For real, for real, for real. I just don't.
His soul. Proverbs 18:7. Communication is the act of exchanging all messages, opinions, signals, and information. In this day of age, we mostly communicate through the phone. Although the phone is the most common form of communication, considering most people have mobile phones, it is not the only way to communicate. As a matter of fact, 70% of communication is nonverbal, meaning that you don't even need to say one word to get your message across. People use phones as well as emails primarily for the convenience it offers, but fail to realize sometimes how this form of communication can affect them, especially if there's something being discussed that could cause harm to their business or affiliates. Simple communication can also mistakenly incriminate someone based on something taken out of context. Use your phone for your convenience and not the convenience of others. Set up an absence service to control the times you prefer to talk to anyone without your phone becoming a distraction. My last federal conviction came about when I was indicted for conspiracy to distribute 5 kilos or more of cocaine and laundering monetary instruments in an amount of $100 million. My amigo, who had ties to the highest levels of the drug cartel, called me one evening telling me to pay him a visit because a shipment had arrived, unaware that his phone was tapped by the DEA. In a recorded phone conversation, the only thing I said was, "I'll be by," and I hung up the phone. My so-called amigo was later busted and identified me on a phone call once he started cooperating with the government in order to reduce his sentence and confirm that the phone call was drug-related.
Yeah.
That
No,
one phone call
I was
and his cooperating
barbecuing.
statement that
I
I
had
purchased
to get
between
my
15 and
barbecue
50 kilos of
in, man.
cocaine from him during a specified time period.
Let's just say I had to get my barbecue in. Shit, it been raining for 3 days. You know it's been flooding. Oh yeah, let me say this while cutting into this. I apologize. I want to send a shout out to my home city because it's flooding like hell out there, bro. People is coming up missing. Like a lot of deaths, a lot of people unalive, man. Like my heart goes out to ATX in the whole Central Texas area right now. It was raining for like 3 days. It wasn't no barbecue. Wasn't no fireworks for us. So I decided to barbecue today as soon as that stuff kind of stopped. After I got done barbecuing, it started raining again. You know what I'm saying? I ate the food and went to sleep. But prayers to them people, man.
Was enough for me to be backed into accepting a plea agreement for some ghost dope that the feds never even confiscated or saw me purchase or distribute. It's an understatement to say watch how you talk on the phone. If you have some type of secret activity to discuss,
Salute,
you
Jess.
shouldn't discuss it over the phone at all. Technology is at its best and improving daily. Due to terrorism, just about anything can be traced in order to keep our country safe. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that if the government can intercept a conversation between dangerous criminals overseas, it's nothing to intercept a phone call from 2 knucklehead drug dealers or white-collar criminals in America conspiring to break the law.
Let's go.
Today, it's not even necessary to talk on the phone because individuals have become accustomed to text messaging. The problem with this type of communication is that it can still be brought up and used against you as evidence in a court of law. Someone can send you a text discussing something unlawful, and you may reply via a text and have no idea who is on the other end of that phone. It could be the judge or the DA setting you up. The same goes for a telephone call. Unless you are a keen individual with an excellent intuition, someone can call you and discuss business while having you on speakerphone or three-way, letting God knows who listen to your whole conversation. If it does become a necessity to talk on the phone, either because you are too impatient to properly plan for a
They
business
talking about
meeting or
kids
business
coming up missing
transaction,
and everything.
watch how
Dog.
you
This
talk.
shit weird.
There are many
Over
metaphors
that
and codes
rain,
you can
man.
use to replace a direct conversation about drugs or any type of activity you are involved in. If the person on the other end of the phone isn't a dumbass, he or she will be able to interpret your isms. If that person on the other line is continually trying to make you discuss something illegal while mentioning your name, so it's clearly understood what's being said, be careful. He or she just might be a snitch, confidential informant, or person trying to set you up attempting to bust your ass. I could think of all kind of fly ways to discuss business in code words or talk numbers over the phone in reference to
That nigga talk about, I can talk like this because I don't grind. You got a nigga call you up talking about, man, is the keys in? Is the keys in? If a nigga call you talking about is the keys in, man, hey, that nigga probably an informant. Nigga, it's so many type of other lingos you can use over that motherfucking horn. Talking about, you know, enchiladas or anything, any type of thing. You know what I'm talking about? Like nalators, it could be anything. The dishes clean, whatever, you know. These niggas ain't, you know, if nigga talking straightforward to you, man, that nigga might be some type of informer, man. For
Money
real.
and measurements. But that is something I'll save for another book. Which brings me to my next chapter. Call to action. Master your phone in the way you communicate. The next time you go out to eat, go to work, or take time out for your recreation, cut your phone off and focus your full attention away from your phone. Did you know? There's a true story of a Chinese triad that was talking to a friend at another prison when their lawyer conferenced their phone call together. One member had sent his friend some soy sauce off the commissary through another inmate who had transferred. During their conversation, the triad member asked his friend if he received the soy sauce. The DEA agent who convicted him had his conversation recorded and notified the U.S. attorney that he caught the man dealing heroin through his phone call and claimed that soy sauce was code for China White. The man is still incarcerated after doing more time than expected.
Damn.
The dragon head of the Chinese triad was literally talking about soy sauce. Busted by the feds.
Hey, that's cool.
Law number 4. The game is to be sold, not told. All scripture is given by inspiration of God, and it is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness.
Yes.
2 Timothy 3:16.
Yes.
In 1998, after being signed to No Limit Records, American rapper Snoop Dogg released his album. The game is to be sold, not told. Like most No Limit albums during that time, the album did magnificent numbers. Not just because it was from a legendary rapper and rising executive producer, but because the name of the album was one of the most powerful quotes a rapper could have said at that time. It took me 30 years of my life, 2 sentences in federal prison, additional years of supervised release, being portrayed, and countless wins and losses involved with criminal activity to be able to come up with the ideal and factual content of this book. Had I been educated with what I know now, I wouldn't have encountered so many failures and disappointments that I experienced to be successful. By no means did I acquire the knowledge and game I have for free. Not only did I pay for it with my freedom, but I paid for it with 6-figure losses. At times, it almost cost me my life. Much of the knowledge I share in this book would not come out in a conversation with me. The only reason you are able to get it and study it as a blueprint is because either you purchased this book or someone purchased it for you. During the United States presidential election with Hillary Clinton and President Donald Trump, there was plenty of mention during the debate about Trump's alleged tax scandal. Time and time again, Trump was accused of not paying taxes because he wouldn't release his tax returns. However, never once did President Trump deny not paying certain taxes during the debate. Even in the midst of not giving a denial, he rarely emphasized on exactly why he didn't pay certain taxes. The reason why is because he has paid some of the best CPAs with an understanding of the IRS tax codes to work for him in a way that he and other wealthy people like him may benefit from certain tax codes. One of those tax breaks come from the depreciation filed on real estate. It is not an obligation for the wealthy to share information they pay for with the masses. It's your responsibility to seek it out through your own due diligence or purchase it yourself. I can recall when I first started experimenting with drugs at the age of 13, trying to sell marijuana in the 7th grade. By the time I was 15 and a freshman in high school, I had bought my first rock deal and was selling crack on 11th Street in Orange, Texas, which was dominated at the time by the Blood Gang. Many of the older hustlers and gang members would try to run me off, pretending they didn't want me hanging out there and saying they were looking out for me because I was too young. However, if I was the only one out there at a particular time with drugs, they were more than happy to assist me in making a deal in order to get a margin of profit. It didn't take me long to realize that those same hustlers didn't have my best interests at heart. They didn't want me around at certain times because in all actuality, I was short-stopping some of the clientele, slowing down their potential cash flow. One day I was walking down the street facing a trap where the Bloods were and the police came around the corner. I had a couple of crack rocks in my hand and heard one of the homies on the porch yell, 5-0. Instinctively, I put the rocks in my mouth while the cops rolled up on me and proceeded to frisk me before letting me go and adding my name to a gang profile just for walking down that street. Although I was warned that the police were turning the corner, nobody told me what to do. The action I took in that split second wasn't something I was taught or instructed. It was just something I did. Sometimes experience is the best teacher. The ones with the most game are usually the ones with the most experience. No one is going to wholeheartedly give you game for free because if they earned it, they feel you have to earn it as well.
You gotta earn it too.
Peep game will buy you some because nothing in life worth having comes for free. Call to action. Think of a person who is wealthier than you and take them out to eat. Pay for dinner and listen to them as they speak and you observe some of the knowledge that you didn't know. Think of another person who has more information than you do in a desired field and offer them an incentive to share what they know.
Man, I don't know who be telling this nigga this type of shit. Hey, it's a dang good idea. Dang good idea. Just take somebody you know. That's like not where you want to be in life, but you know, go in the position that you want to go. Just asking, man, let me take you out there. I just want to have a business conversation with you, like just to see how you talk, you know, what things you did to, you know, what things I can do to put in order. That makes a lot of sense, man.
You know, you could be charged with racketeering if you in any way obtain money illegally, as by fraud, extortion, etc. Law number 5, business is between those who do it. And he said unto them, how is it that you sought me? Wish ye not that I must be about my father's business? Luke 2:49. Once you understand the game is to be sold and not told, you will understand why it is important that business should only be discussed between those who do it. You will often hear people tell their success stories and the struggles they had to overcome to become successful. But rarely, if ever, will you hear them describe in full detail every facet of business they participated in to get there. Why? Because it's none of your damn business. Just like it isn't anyone else's business what you do in your line of work, unless the person you're talking to is directly involved in some shape, form, or fashion. The less people you have in your business, the more likely you have a chance to succeed. The last thing you need is to face a day in court, and then everyone in the city who you thought were down for you is walking in one by one to testify against you because you let everyone see your business. Prosecutors will scare the hell out of some people by threatening to charge them with obstruction of justice for seeing and knowing something and not cooperating with their investigation. You can see examples of that all the time on the first 48. The best way to avoid this kind of harassment is to keep people out your business to begin with. A person who isn't hustling has no business hanging in a trap. Just like a person who doesn't know how to fly a plane has no business in the cockpit. Even as a street hustler, you must begin.
Hey, I can give y'all a good example of that. Just look at Gunna in the Young Thug case. Just look at Gunna in the Young Thug case. Nigga don't know shit about shit. Yeah, he may have seen some shit, but he don't know nothing about nothing. This little young kid just make music, just got caught up in the trap. But you know, hey,
To adapt the mind frame of a corporate businessman. Businessmen do not go around flaunting their signed contracts. They let their success speak for them. As a hustler, when you tell one person to let someone see something he or she is not involved in, you then relinquish power to that person to tell someone else and create a chain reaction.
yes,
You, the hustler, are more liable than anyone else involved because you are ultimately the primary investor. Even when you have a great idea, it's best to keep it to yourself while what you are trying to accomplish is still in the infant stages of development. Unless you are explaining that idea to someone with a vested interest or someone can protect your idea, you have no reason to discuss it with anyone. Don't be the type of hustler or investor who is so conceited you can't keep your mouth closed about your business. Egotism and vanity is a sure way to encounter unnecessary problems and is fatal to success. Everyone in life will not be happy to see you succeed. Some people would jump at the first opportunity to infiltrate the structure of your hustle and business to cause havoc. The best way to avoid that from happening is by not freely discussing your business or any details of it with people who are not involved with what you are doing. If it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense, nonsense. The only reason it would make sense or be necessary to discuss business with someone would be if that person has something invested into the conversation and has something to lose if the business is not handled properly. Never discuss bread around a chirping bird or cheese around a rat. Call to action. Next time you have an idea to accomplish something related to your business, keep the idea to yourself. Discuss it only with someone who can offer you something for its fruition or manifestation. Did you know? According to a 2005 report of the International Center for Prison Studies in London, the United States, with only 5% of the world's population, houses 25% of the world's inmates. Law number 6, keep your mistress out your business. Give not thy strength to women, nor thy ways to that which destroyed kings. Proverbs 31:3. When I was incarcerated at the age of 18 at Beaumont Federal Correction Institution, I took mental notes of the conversations I had with other inmates. And over half of the conversations I had, guys would tell me a woman played a part in their downfall when they explained how they were busted, including myself. Usually, behind every successful man is a good woman. Likewise, most of the time, behind every downfall of a man is another woman. For this reason, a man has to be careful when choosing a woman. A hustler has to be twice as careful. For one, it takes a special kind of woman to be able to handle the lifestyle of a hustler or a business owner and the issues that come along with it. Fast money tends to bring a lifestyle with fast women who all want to get in where they can fit in. I speak from experience when I say that no matter what stage of the game you are in, as a hustler, business owner, or boss of any kind, it will be difficult to be at home with your woman like a man who has a normal 9-to-5 job. Even if you are at your prime in the game or your business and your money is out there working for you, there still may be times when you need to work long hours, need to take trips, or go out of town for business. Of course, you could bring your woman with you to ease her insecurities, but then you will be breaking law number 5. Business is between those who do it. Maybe you think it is okay for your woman to work in your line of business while you school on the details and basics of your operation. I don't knock your hustle, but I hope you don't have kids together in the event you are both convicted for a bad business transaction. Child Protective Services will intervene and try to take your children. The police will quickly remind a woman of this during an arrest or investigation and entice her to cooperate, leading to the downfall of your whole operation. They will always go to the woman first because throughout history, the female has proven to be the weaker link in most cases, although not all. If you don't want to believe me, I strongly suggest you go read the Bible. In the beginning, Eve was convinced by the devil to eat the forbidden fruit because he knew she was the weaker vessel. If you put a woman in your business and she leads to your downfall, you can only blame yourself. She is only doing what a woman has been doing since the beginning of time. Men act of logic while women act from emotion. A woman will have your ass locked up and beat her to visit you the next day saying how sorry she is and she misses you. Men usually think about the aftermath of the decisions they make to make more logical decisions. When a man does act too emotional, there's a name for it. He's a Mitch, a male bitch. In defense for all the real women out there, there's not to say that there are not any silent women existing, because there are. Some women are more silent than some men. It's probably 1 out of 100, and indeed, that makes them a rare and special breed. I say keep your mistress out your business, but your mistress doesn't necessarily have to be your mistress, but can be your wife. In case you are a woman, this significant other who I'm indirectly referring to may also be your boyfriend or your husband. Use this law in any way that it applies to you. The point I'm basically making is that your significant other may have a valuable role to play in your life, but it's not always in the best interest of you to allow that person to mingle within the scope of your business. The same way it's a woman's job to serve different purposes in her man's life away from his business, it's a man's job to do the same. Speaking from a man's perspective, allow me to share some of my beliefs. I believe a woman should support her man in his working endeavors. I believe she should be able to respect and appreciate his judgment and recognize his authoritative role as a man. She should be able to trust his ability to analyze things and not just depend on her intuition while being a friend, and not just a lover while still honoring his need for sexual release. However, none of those things has anything to do with getting involved in his business whatsoever in any type of way. In this day and age, women are also hustlers and bosses with needs as well. These may include, but are not limited to them needing a man reassuring them of love, being open, and sharing thoughts and acknowledging their emotions. A woman needs a man to be able to protect her, resolve issues, and keep peace. She needs to be reassured of his loyalty and know she is valued in high regard. If the woman is the one who is hustling, it's possible for a man to provide all of those things and still stay out of her business. It works both ways. Call to action. The next time your significant other brings up their line of work, be a good listener, being supportive of their ideas, but keep your feedback of opinions to yourself. When you have any business of your own to discuss it with your business colleagues only, and keep your significant other out of it. Did you know a black male resident of the state of California is more likely to go to a state prison than to a state college? Law number 7, never sell dope out your baby mama's house. It is better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and angry woman. Proverbs 21:19. First off, let's define the word dope. To some of you hustlers reading this book, dope is probably an illicit, habit-forming, or narcotic drug. Maybe it's marijuana. Webster also defines dope as being a preparation for giving a desired quality. It also defines dope as information. So whether you are selling drugs, newspapers, magazines, books, or doing taxes for someone, it's still dope. You could be fixing cars, cutting hair, printing silkscreen t-shirts, or serving clients as a personal trainer. It's still dope. The last place you should consider selling your dope is at your baby mama house. After getting a clear understanding of the reasons and risks associated with putting your mistress in your business, you should also have a clear idea why you should never sell dope at your baby mama house. Maybe you are one of those hustlers who stay in the flyers, cars, and clothes, but you are behind on your child support or haven't had some good sex with your baby mama in a long time, and the frustration she has for you is building up like hot lava in a volcano. She is an emotional creature like your mistress, if not more emotional, because she has a child for you. Your child's mother could be the woman who can help you the most when you need a woman to have your back, but she can also be the woman who hurts you the most if you push her past a breaking point for whatever reason. Having another woman and being in a happy relationship without her just might be enough to push her to the limit of jealousy and vindictiveness where she double crosses you. So be careful how you handle the relationship. Some women have the mentality, if I can't have it, no woman will. Baby mamas are known to have a controlling attitude because they have a child with you and feel they're entitled to the benefits of your lifestyle even if you do take care of your child. No matter how much dope you sell from her house and how much money you break her off with from the profits of your hustle, most likely it will not be enough and she will be a ticking time bomb waiting to go off on you at any given moment. As the saying goes, you play with fire, you are going to get burned. Besides, if you are conducting any type of risky business, it's best to keep that bullshit away from your kids anyway. Hopefully you're getting money, not to impress anybody, but to provide a better life for you, your kids, and your family to place them in a better environment and leave a legacy behind. Right. If your kids see you conducting any type of business that you know society doesn't deem appropriate, they might grow up to think it's socially acceptable. Not understanding that daddy or mama only did certain things because they fell victim to the streets and needed a quick way to financially support the family because daddy and mama didn't have a good enough education for decent employment. As a parent, you should want better for your child or children than what you had and hope that they don't have to experience some of the things you did. If you have enough sense to follow law number 2 and never shit where you sleep, I hope you have enough heart and intelligence to not sell dope at your baby mama's house where you are putting the mother of your child and your kids at risk to the consequences of the game. If you don't have a baby mama, try to keep it that way and raise your family inside of wedlock applying these laws. As of now, statistics show that the majority of kids growing up in the ghetto are being raised by single mothers. Call to action. Take an inventory of the things that you have around your kids that may put them in danger and remove it today. Make a conscious effort not to do anything around your child or the mother of your child that may harm them. Did you know? While 3 out of 200 young whites were incarcerated in 2000, the rate for your blacks was 1 in 9. Law number 8, don't ride dirty. He that handleth a matter wisely shall find good, and whoso trusteth in the Lord, happy is he. Proverbs 16:20. For the sake of breaking statistics, let me first start off by acknowledging someone who is reading this book and sells forbidden products for a living. If you are in business riding dirty, I'm going to assume that you have very little experience in your line of work and or have never been pulled over by the cops or caught a felony case. If you are experienced and do know the repercussions for a felony possession and still riding dirty, let's hope it's only to get a product from point A to point B. That is the only exception to riding dirty. A hustler has no reason for nonchalantly using a moving vehicle to transport anything illegal unless he or she is traveling directly from one spot to the other to conduct business. At no time should that person joyride or travel with an item or items that could lead to a conviction if it's avoidable. If you do have to ride dirty, I strongly suggest you get a stash spot that cannot be easily detected. Most D-boys like to ride around and smoke weed in their vehicles. If you are not a weed smoker, the smell can easily be detected even if you haven't recently smoked in a vehicle. An officer will detect the smell and assume you are riding dirty even if you aren't and have probable cause to search your automobile. If you are riding dirty and get searched, you just put yourself in a great position to catch a case. There have been plenty of times when I was pulled over for absolutely nothing. I say nothing, but I know it was because of racial profiling. I've had police lie and say they smell marijuana when I know I had not been smoking. And it was in brand new cars with less than 200 miles and they smell like nothing but plush leather. At the end of the day, an officer can always lie, so it's better to be safe than sorry. Police have even went the lengths of calling K9 drug dogs to sniff around my car and suggest the dogs went off as a reason to conduct a search of my vehicle after I told them they couldn't. Some may find it hard to believe that this type of behavior exists amongst police officers and minorities in America, but it is very prevalent. This type of occurrence has not just happened once to me, but on numerous occasions. Every time an officer has asked to search my car, I said no, even though I knew I was clean. I exercise my right to do so. However, just because you have rights doesn't mean your rights won't be violated by unjust members of law enforcement. The best way to avoid a possession case altogether is to not ride dirty at all or give away any type of suspicion that you are. Now that I've broken that down in simple enough terms in the physical so that even an uneducated criminal can understand, let me explain further from a more intellectual and spiritual approach for those of you with a broader understanding of what I mean by don't ride dirty. I'm also referring to your attitude. Many criminals are not simply busted because of certain clues that point directly to them, but also because they act guilty and self-conscious. If your thoughts and spirit are dirty without any harmony and balance, a discerning individual will pick up on your energy immediately on the basis that we are all spiritual beings beyond what can be seen with the eyes. Some things can just be felt. This is why some officers say they had a gut feeling after making a bust.
Hey, don't I always tell y'all, nigga, the eyes never lie, nigga. You can tell, like, if somebody want to use some money from you, borrow some money, when you give it to them, not when they ask you for it, look in their eyes, but look in their eyes when you give it to them. If you can, if it ain't no cash app or something. If it's cash and you giving them hand-to-hand cash and you look at them when they borrowing it, you can always tell if they gonna pay you back, bro. It's just the way the world is.
Don't ride through your life and through your business with dirty or destructive thoughts. A man is literally the complete sum of his thoughts. If you say things to yourself like, I am a loser, I am a failure, or I am going to go to jail, then I can assure you that you will definitely lose, fail, and go to jail one day. If you say things to yourself like, I am a winner, I am successful, or I am going to close on this deal, then rest assured that with the proper action following your thoughts, you will win, succeed, and close on whatever type of deal you are aiming for. Whatever you think you can or think you can't, either way, you're absolutely right. That's why it's not just important to ride clean physically, but it's equally important to be clean mentally and spiritually before engaging in any type of business. Corporate America is not excluded from this law.
Facts.
Jesus said that the things that come forth from the heart are what defileth the man. Therefore, before you participate in any type of business, don't just make sure that things are clean on the surface, but make sure your thinking is clear and your heart is clean too. A famous American author and entrepreneur by the name of Napoleon Hill once said, you must have a positive mental attitude, accurate thinking, and maintain sound and physical and mental health as the 17 laws of success. Call to action. Next time you get ready to participate in any type of business, get cleaned up, clean your vehicle, freshen up your appearance, and meditate for 15 minutes, concentrating on your desire and eliminate all negative thoughts and thoughts of failure by ignoring them and shoving them into the back of your mind. Did you know? According to Prison Legal News, April 2009, each year, tons of unused pharmaceuticals are flushed by America's state and federal prisons, hospitals, and long-term care facilities, contaminating the nation's drinking water. Law 9. Stand behind your product. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. Genesis 1:31. What is the product that you are selling? Is it a service or is it an item? You can have all the skills in the world of a great salesman and hustler, but unless you provide productive performance with your service or a product with value, you will not excel in your business. It's not just enough for your service or product to have value, but as a person, you need to add value to yourself for the full benefit of your mission. Consider two people who have the same position on a job, but one is making more money than the other. It's more than likely the reason why is because one of them is more valuable to the company than the other. A white Gucci t-shirt will cost much more than an identical white t-shirt you buy down the street at a convenience store. Both of them may look the same, but one has more value based on the material it's made from. A sure way to reel in a consumer or customer of any kind is to offer them 100% money back guarantee if they aren't satisfied. If you want to encounter problems or headaches in business, the quickest way to do this is by selling someone a bad product. If you want to establish a good name in business, the best thing you can do is have the best product on the market. Once word gets out that your product is certified, your name will be certified too, and the rest is history. Your product will literally seem to sell itself at certain times with little or no effort at all, as it gets promoted by word of mouth from the right people. Your clientele will begin to blossom like fertilized grass in the middle of spring once people know you have a good product. Nobody wants to be fucked over when it comes to their money, so you have to be damn sure you can stand behind your product just in case someone tries to play you. Recently, a guy told me a story about an encounter he had with another hustler in his line of work dealing drugs. He said the hustler came by his house with a Pyrex full of water, complaining that he wasn't getting the results he was looking for from the product he bought. The guy told me that he was pissed at the other hustler for coming to his house complaining, but to keep the peace, he gave him his money back and told him not to call him anymore because he was certain he had the best product in town. After the guy left, he said that he began whipping the substance inside the water and cooking it until the 14 grams he sold the guy came out to be 33 grams, which proved the other guy was either full of shit or didn't know what the hell he was doing. Either way it goes, my guy knew he could stand behind his product and not lose even by giving a full refund. Standing behind your product in the corporate world is detrimental to success. But when you are dealing with hustles in the underworld, like in the example I just mentioned with the 2 drug dealers, it's even more crucial and can sometimes quickly escalate to a life and death situation stemming from bad customer service and a bad product. During my days of hustling in the underworld, I always made sure I had the most potent product around. Therefore, I never received any complaints. If someone would call me complaining, I would be ready to refund their money to keep the peace, or either kill or die behind what I knew without a doubt was good. I can honestly say that out of all my years hustling, I never had anyone call back for a refund because I followed this law of precaution. If someone would have called me back for a refund, the product had better not be tampered with.
It's over
That
with.
way, we would not have any problem whatsoever. Everybody who is involved in the game of hustling or any type of business wishes to win. Nobody wants to lose. If you contribute to someone's loss in business, you just build a bad relationship with that person. On the contrary, if you and your product contribute to someone's financial gain in business, you create a good relationship. Building relationships are just as important as making money. When you die, you can't take $1 with you, but how people remember you will last forever. Call to action. Anytime you conduct business, make sure you are offering something of value and not just trying to make a quick buck. Start off today by adding value to yourself first and following the golden rule. Treat others how you want to be treated. Did you know the longest recorded prison sentences were ones of 7,109 years, awarded to 2 confidence tricksters in Iran, formerly Persia, on June 15, 1969.
$7,000-year sentence? Dang.
Law number 10. Don't vouch for anyone but yourself. Neither shalt thou swear by thy head, because thou canst not make one hair white or black. But let your communication be, yeah, yea, nay, nay. For whatsoever is more than these cometh of evil. Matthew 5, 36, 37. Maybe your hustle is getting up out of bed every day and going to work. You call it a job. But if you're working overtime for extra money, to me, that's hustling.
That's hustling.
If you're doing extra work and are continuously trying to improve your resume, that's hustling.
That's hustling.
If you are always one of the first to arrive and the last one to leave, going over and beyond your normal duties, then you are hustling.
Didn't I tell y'all that? That's why this is Self-Made Hustle TV. It ain't all about selling drugs, man. Man, your hustle is what you do extra to get by, man. You hustling to get it. You're not slew-footing around to get it. You doing extra. You going over means to get it. That's hustling, man.
Suppose someone you know needs a job and you put in a good word for them with your boss to get hired, and they get the job on account of you referring them. Afterwards, you and your employer finds out that this particular person is incompetent, lazy, and a horrible employee with no hustle. Guess who is going to hold you accountable for vouching for that person? Your boss. Now, this person doesn't just look bad, but so do you. You never could be 100% sure about anyone but yourself. Nobody knows you better than yourself. In the same token, you don't know anybody else better than they know themselves. You can never be too sure of a person's true intentions or the motive that they may have. Just because you see things one way doesn't mean that the next person will always see it the same way. Don't expect people to see your vision if they don't share your same dream. Just because you are a person of integrity doesn't mean that your right-hand man will live with the same code of ethics as you and mirror your same characteristics.
Facts.
Just because you kept it real with the connect doesn't mean your homeboy will.
Facts.
Maybe you have a friend that has never fucked you over a day in your life. That doesn't mean he won't fuck over another one of your friends. Maybe your friend has a particular reason for never screwing you over, but it's still a snake in the grass waiting to bite someone else. I had a well-feared and respected old head who vouched for me in the game to meet people who would have never talked to me in the underworld had it not been for this man. This opportunity was meant for me in life because I was the last person this guy ever vouched for again. He told me that if I fucked up, I would be in some deep shit. To this day, my head is still above water and I'm living to tell the story, so you know I must still be in good standings. Unfortunately, the reason he said he wouldn't vouch for anyone else is because all of the people before me, with the exception of one or two, all fucked up and burned up bridges. While hustling in the streets years ago, I once had an associate who came to me vouching for his little cousin and asked me to put him on his feet in the game. I didn't know his cousin from a can of shit, but on account of my associate being a faithful purchaser in my clientele, I put the youngster on his feet. To make a long story short, the little bitch ran off with my product without paying his bill and still owes me money to this day. I had his cousin indirectly pay me to make up for my loss without him knowing I was taxing it on our following transactions. but I still say his little cousin owes me. His excuse for not paying me on time almost caused me to have a bad relationship with his cousin who vouched for him.
Yeah.
I learned my lesson from watching other people vouch for others who let them down.
Yeah.
The only person who I can be 100% certain about is myself. And because of that, you would never see me vouch for anybody but myself.
That's it.
Call to action. Give as much as you can, but don't allow yourself to be used. Listen to others closely, but don't lose your own voice. Work to create a life that feels right to you, not one that looks right to everyone else. Did you know? It costs roughly $29,000 to house a single inmate for a year. Law number 11, avoid doing business with family.
Tell you.
And ye shall be betrayed both by parents and brethren and kinsfolks and friends. And some of you shall they cause to be put to death. Luke 21:16. This chapter is the most heartbreaking for me to write about because although it's sad to say, it's very much true. Sometimes family members will be the first ones to fuck over you. You would think that if anybody had your back 100% in life and in business, it would be your family. If you come from one of those extremely loyal families, like the ones we see in the mafia movies, then I salute you with a tad bit of envy because it's damn sure not like that where I come from. Where I'm from, blood makes you related, but loyalty is what makes you family. Sometimes it's almost easier to find genuine loyalty amongst a stranger than it is from one of your own relatives. I was once told that if you can't find an enemy amongst your friends, your neighbors, and your family, then you most likely don't have any enemies. Family is very important, and it's not my intention to belittle how important family is.
Boy.
But if I owned 10 stores and had 10 unemployed relatives, I would do my best not to hire any of them. I'm not saying I wouldn't help them financially and in other ways, but I'm simply saying I wouldn't hire them. I would gladly help each of them pay a bill or two and help their kids as much as possible. But I would not allow them to partake in my business and sabotage my income unless they first prove their competence and loyalty. I'm also in no way suggesting that you don't hang out with your family, because whether you're wrong or right and go to war, your family will usually be the ones having your back no matter what. All I'm suggesting is to avoid doing business with your family for more than apparent reasons. I remember a cousin of mine who I put on some time back who used to hang around me frequently and support many of the things I did when it came to my music career. Through his actions, I could tell my cousin was also somewhat envious of me and lacked respect for me because of his inward jealousies. Why people hate has always been a mystery to me. But I do know jealousy stems from greed and wants someone else has because you feel you should have it instead. In so many words, I can sum it up by saying that no matter how much I was willing to look out for my cousin, he was still a hater. One night I had my homeboy come pick up a package, and I also fronted my cousin a package of equal value. In 3 days, my homeboy returned back to me not $1 short. I can't say the same for my cousin. My cousin and I fell out afterwards, having words about this and didn't talk for months. He later apologized for his actions and behavior, which mended our relationship as family, and I salute him as a man for that. But I'm still waiting on that bread he owes me. What makes the matter worse is I've seen him on Facebook and Instagram flashing like he's balling on countless occasions. Had this not been a family member, he would not be lucky enough to carry out such foolishness. Family members know they will get a pass every now and then. Sometimes family even has the mentality you owe them something just because you are related.
Yeah.
I learned that it's better at times to look out for your family and help them in a time of need than to employ and do business with them. In the event that you want to do business with family, it's usually a good idea to hire someone else who isn't related to supervise over them in a superior position. This will incline your family member to perform a better job with the understanding that the superior will most likely be less forgiving than you are. Your family member will know that the person with authority over them won't cut as much slack as you would because they are of no relation. Even as a multi-million-dollar conglomerate or business owner, not hiring your family and giving them the proceeds of your wealth can be just as dangerous as doing business with them because acquiring something for nothing in life usually becomes a curse. All wealth and possession of power is a bigger blessing to all involved when it has been acquired through effort. Your children are no exception. Call to action. Contact a lawyer and write a living trust to control your wealth and how it is distributed even after you are deceased. Study the history of successful families like the Rockefellers, the Waltons, and the Fords to see their success secrets as a family to prosper. Did you know? Prosecutors are increasingly looking on popular social networking sites for information to justify a harsher sentencing for a defendant and to build conspiracies amongst families and friends. Law number 12, Never outshine the master. Let your light shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Matthew 5:16. In order for you not to outshine the master, it's imperative for you to first be aware of who the master is. Otherwise, it's possible that you will outshine the master without even being aware that you're doing it. The master may not be your dominant in the literal sense of the word, comparing you as a submissive, but the master is anyone who is highly skilled or has some type of authority and control when it comes to your income and the way you accumulate your money. The master has more expertise than you in the involvement of your hustle, and it's probably why he or she is in a better position than you are. If you want to become as proficient as the master, sit back and watch how the master conducts business.
Facts.
Don't try to be more than he or she is, especially in a master's presence. Even when you feel that it's your time to shine and be acknowledged for your effort, learn the art of self-discipline and how to control yourself in the master's presence. If you don't conquer yourself will conquer you.
Hey, boy.
Don't worry about when the master is outshining you. Just continue to get your money and don't do anything egotistical to jeopardize your cash flow. Remember, social comparison is the thief of happiness. You can spend a lifetime worrying about what others have or do, but it won't get you anything.
Anything.
When I was about 17, I used to ride down to Houston and steal from an older player in the game who was showing me the ropes back then about a lot of do's and don'ts. Every time he would serve me product, he would never let me leave without dropping some jewels on me, meaning sharing wisdom. One of the things he told me when we first met was that he could assure me that once we started to do business with each other, I would come up on a lot of money real quick. He didn't lie. He also told me that once I did come up, not to ever scope from him wearing a fancy chain on my neck trying to shine. I guess he had seen youngsters like myself come up in the game before and knew what we were capable of. That sure as shit stank. One of the first things I did when I got some money in my pockets was buy me a 24-karat gold 20-inch Byzantine with an onyx and gold Versace medallion.
Hey,
I remember what he said though, and I always left it at home when I went to school.
Oh, Byzantine chain, man. Hey, man. I had one too. You wouldn't know hustler in the street if you didn't have a Byzantine chain, man, with a coin link medallion. Man, you know, you young niggas wouldn't even understand, man. You wouldn't even understand.
From it. I really didn't understand the principle at the time, but now I do. Never outshine the master. If your boss is not shining or being flamboyant in public, then you should not either. You might very well bring heat on him or her because you want to shine too much. Even if your boss is that type of person, it wouldn't be wise to outshine him or her because someone might mistake you for the boss and you are not capable of backing that up. It also may create jealousy from your boss. Whether the boss is jealous of you or not doesn't matter because the point is that he or she can cut you off from eating at their table if you get them feeling the wrong way. Sometimes a boss can see a worker shining too much and cut that person off for a while, pretending that there isn't any work available for them or there has been a drought on product. It doesn't necessarily mean a boss doesn't want to see his worker flourish, but the boss may feel that a worker shining too hard will bring heat on an operation and be the cause of a downfall. Sometimes a boss has to cut off a finger to save a hand. If you want to outshine...
See, a lot of essays in Texas, they don't like to do business with niggas. Don't get it twisted. We talking about the real essays. I'm not talking about the essays that's rolling around on swangers like we is now. I'm talking about the real Vatos Locos. The real ones from Mexico. They don't like to make dealings with niggas because we too flashy. We got the chains and all that stuff. Hey, but in actuality, in Mexico, it's a lot of essays that's flashy too. My nigga, they got gold guns. Bro, they got tigers as pets. Like, bro, flossy, like, you know? So it just, you know, it's all the same to me, you know.
Shine the master, it's best to shine in a whole different area that is not related to anything the master does or is interested in. Call to action. Identify the person in your life who is responsible for signing your paychecks or who is responsible for supplying you with what's necessary to continue your cash flow. Immediately cease doing anything or bringing anything in their presence that will give others the impression that you are superior. Did you know? In prison, inmates in the living areas may be searched at any time by staff. Law number 13. Don't mix business with pleasure. Lest they drink and forget the law and pervert the judgment of any of the afflicted. Proverbs 31:5. Doing business is the time you conduct the obligations and transactions of your occupation or a particular hustle. Pleasure should be the time that you are in a state of gratification, enjoying the rewards of your business. Business and pleasure are like night and day. To get the full benefit and satisfaction of either or, they should arise at totally two different times. While conducting business, it is very significant to concentrate on your efforts with a well-defined purpose. You must continually make a conscious effort to not get sidetracked by the pleasures of this world. There's a time for everything under the sun. There's a time to laugh and a time to cry. A time to plant and a time to harvest. There's a time for business and there's a time for pleasure. Make sure you know the difference and keep them separate from each other. Make one mistake of mixing business with pleasure, and it could be the last mistake you ever make. You must also be aware of the relationships you have with business associates on a personal level so that it doesn't affect the relationship and outcome on a business level. Don't be a yoga instructor or personal trainer sleeping with your clients and think that it's not going to affect your business relationships and income. Don't be a construction site foreman getting drunk with your coworkers and expect them to work harder for you and perform their duties better when y'all get back to work under your supervision. That's not how a productive business operates. The same way you wouldn't mix water in your oil reservoir, you don't mix business with pleasure either. As a matter of fact, you should do business before pleasure so that you don't have to worry about it later on. My homeboys and I used to remind each other to put MOB, meaning money over bitches. Or we tell each other to put MOE, meaning money over everything. First things first, get your money.
Get your money,
After
man.
you get your money, count your money. After you count your money, hide your money. Put it in a safe place where nobody can get to it and remember where it's at. Suppose you get too drunk or too fucked up.
Let's go.
In the game of hustling, slippers count. And mixing business with pleasure is a quick and easy way to get caught slipping. The streets are always watching. Whether it's the cops, the robbers, your enemies, or some slick women with the spirit of Jezebel. Someone is always lurking and looking for an opportunity to fuck over you and kill your dreams. The easiest way for them to do that is to catch you while you are not focused. Most of the time when the hustler is enjoying his life, whether it be at a party, a club, casino, in a motel with some model-looking bitch, the green grass of a golf course, or just at a hole-in-the-wall bar having a drink and smoking a spliff, his mind is not fully focused on business. It's usually at that time when someone is trying to get their mind away from business and loosen up. Now do you see why business and pleasure don't mix? How can you enjoy what is meant to take you away from business while still trying to conduct it at the same time? It makes absolutely no sense.
You're right, though.
I recently watched an episode of First 48 where two guys came from out of town and were robbed and murdered in a motel room. After the shit hit the fan and the heat came, a young lady was interrogated and told everything she knew. During the interrogation interview, she admitted to detectives that she and her homegirl met some guys from out of town who were flashing in the club, bragging about their money and line of work in a game. Her homegirl called her boyfriend and his homeboy who happened to be jealous, and they convinced the young ladies to lure the guys into a motel room where they robbed them and left them for dead with multiple gunshot wounds. True story. Don't mix business with pleasure. Call to action. Get an agenda book. In your agenda book, write down the dates and times you will dedicate your focus strictly to conducting business. Also, write down the times you will enjoy life by doing whatever it is that you enjoy doing. Keep these activities completely separate from each other and stick to your agenda. Did you know a federal inmate has to serve 87.11% of an actual sentence after receiving good time? The prisoner receives 54 days per year served for good conduct. If you are sentenced to 120 months, you will have to serve slightly more than 104.5 months if you receive all of your good time without any reductions included. Law number 14, protect yourself and your investments. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. Ephesians 6:13. In 2007, Grammy Award-winning rapper T.I. was arrested on federal gun charges just hours before he was scheduled to perform at the BET Hip Hop Awards. In a sit-down interview with Larry King, T.I. explained his intentions. It came from an attempt that was made on my life, he said. My best friend had died in my arms. It caused a state of depression and paranoia. My judgment was jaded, and I felt my life was in danger. At the time, when I felt the need to have these things, I never took into consideration the legalities. I only took into the consideration the protection of my life and family. Later on in the interview, he continued by saying, The main thing I could do to protect myself in the future is to understand my position, he said. I can't put myself in an environment where it will require me to have a handgun. I just stay places where I can be cool. I have security now. You can conclude from this interview that the Grammy Award-winning rapper T.I. had no intentions on using the firearms he purchased, unless it came down to it for him to protect himself, his family, or maybe his investments. Was it really necessary for T.I. to own as many machine guns and silencers as he did? I don't know. But as the saying goes, it's better to have it and don't need it than to need it and don't have it.
You paranoid.
If you are not a convicted felon, I strongly advise you to exercise your Second Amendment right to bear arms and take the required courses to be able to responsibly conceal a handgun. Every day we turn on the news and hear gun activists who would like to ban that right because of recent fatalities from obviously mentally ill individuals abusing their right. However, the problem is not the guns. Guns don't kill people. Crazy people with guns kill people. You never know when a crazy person with a gun will try to come kill you over some type of business or investments that you have in the game. What will you do if you are faced with this problem? Before you answer that, I also want you to sincerely ask yourself, whether you carry a gun or not, how many times have you actually used a gun to specifically save your life? If the answer is 0, you must realize that it is indeed not the gun that has kept you alive. If the answer is not 0, I don't blame you for taking extra precautions, because I too would rather be judged by 12 than to be carried by 6.
Yes, indeed.
In addition to protecting yourself in investments, please be aware that even though some of you hustlers come from environments where acts of violence are not uncommon, there are still many people conducting business more civilized in the realm of corporate America, where violence is not the correct way to properly solve problems or protect your assets. In the corporate world, it's not rational to shoot or beat somebody up when they steal from you or break a contract, whether it's verbal or written. Instead, you would file a lawsuit. In the corporate world, you don't protect your property and assets with guns, pit bulls, and goons. You protect them with alarm systems, insurance policies, and legal entities. These legal entities include filing your business as a DBA, LLC, C Corp, S Corp, or LLP. Another way is through the advantages of forming a trust. Contact a lawyer or LegalZoom.com to find out which is best for you. Call to action. Before investing any more money into your business or enjoying anything it is that you own, make sure that you have it insured and protected. Ask yourself, what will it take to make sure that you keep whatever it is you have hustled and worked for in the event of opposition where there's a chance of taking a loss? Provide a shield of protection for you and your investments. Did you know? If a weapon or dangerous instrumentality was used or possessed in the commission of the offense, the court may increase the sentence above the authorized guideline range. The extent of the increase ordinarily should depend on the dangerousness of the weapon, the manner in which it was used, and to the extent to which its use endangered others. The discharge of a firearm might warrant a substantial sentence increase. Law number 15. Don't get caught, by all means. For the horse of Pharaoh went in with his chariots and with his horsemen into the sea, and the Lord brought again the waters of the sea upon them. But the children of Israel went on dry land in the midst of the sea. Exodus 15:19. First and foremost, I would like to say that you will reduce an enormous amount of stress in your life by avoiding anything that will make you ask yourself, what if I get caught? Will I get caught? What if they find out? Can I get away? Usually when you have to ask yourself these questions, it's not a matter of will you get caught, but when will you get caught? What happens in the dark always comes to the light. My mother used to tell my siblings and I to never do anything that we would be ashamed of if someone found out. I have always adhered to her advice. So when I got caught, at least I wasn't ashamed for what I did. The word caught is past tense for the word catch, which means to capture or trap. Have you ever wondered why drug dealers refer to the houses they operate from as trap houses? It's because it's the easiest trap to be caught in and captured by the police. People who break the law participate in extreme measures in order to not get caught. Some criminals have even went to the extent of changing their identity and having plastic surgery to avoid getting caught. Illegal immigrants and drug smugglers find the most undetectable and sophisticated ways to not get caught doing anything wrong. Sometimes you have to be very intelligent and creative not to get caught. The more creative you are, the smarter you may think you are, but ask yourself this. Are you more smarter than a person who doesn't do anything to worry about being caught? This law, don't get caught, should probably be the first law I mentioned because it's damn sure one of the most important. This whole book can be summed up as the blueprint and official instructions to enlighten you, open your eyes, broaden your horizon, and of course, educate you on what not to do when hustling to avoid being caught and becoming another statistic in our judicial system. Even though this is one of the most important laws, I didn't mention it at the beginning because if you don't follow the first 14 laws, you probably won't have a chance to follow this one. No matter what type of situation or circumstance you find yourself living in America, you must always understand you live in a country where great opportunity exists to become whatever and whoever you want to be. As long as you are alive and free in this country, you have a chance. With life and liberty, you can pursue happiness. The day that your casket drops, life as you once knew it is over. The day you get caught breaking the law, sentenced to prison, and those jail bars shut, the game you once played is over. I was once incarcerated with people who had 30, 40, and 50-year federal sentences before they was 30 years old. I seen guys who had outdates that said deceased. That means the only way that person will leave out of prison is dead in a box. That's a hard pill to swallow for any man, even the toughest. If I didn't learn anything else from going to prison, I learned I don't ever want to go back. I would do my best not to return. If you do the crime, you should be willing to do the time, or don't do it, or at least have enough sense to not getting caught doing it. If you have traveled outside the United States of America and visit a third world country, you will come back appreciating your country more and the freedom we have here. You will also understand the reason for our military and grasp the reality that someone had to pay the price for the freedom we enjoy. Much love and respect to our veterans who fought for this country. A lot of blood had to be shed for such a great country to exist. Freedom is so special because its cost is death. No wonder why so many people will risk their life dying for the pleasures of freedom than to live in a life of captivity. It doesn't matter what you have to do to not get caught. I suggest that you do it, or either don't take whatever risk you're taking to get caught in the first place. I'm not here to judge you or make decisions for you. I'm just here to enlighten you. By all means. Call to action. Is there something that you're doing right now in your life that you face the fear of being caught? If there is, follow this solution. Stop doing it or start developing creative and sophisticated measures to avoid being caught. Did you know? In federal court, if you have been convicted after a trial, you should always appeal. To appeal, you must first file what is called a notice of appeal within 10 days of your sentencing. Law number 16, never loan out what you need right back. The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender. Proverbs 22:7. When you are a true hustler, there will be certain times that you find yourself with the responsibility of having to make some real pimp decisions. What I mean by that is that at some point you will have to make some wise decisions from a businessman's perspective without becoming emotionally involved. I can recall my earlier days of hustling when I had a loyal worker in my inner circle who always took a long time to move a product. The only reason I continued to deal with him was because of his loyalty and integrity as a hustler. In no way did I really need him on my team to make money. I was going to make the money either with him or without him. I went from hooking him up with big boy packages to little boy packages. I did this because I thought that by shortening his supply, it would make him work faster. I never had a problem with the guy paying me, but the problem was that he always took so damn long. All of my other workers would be done, and he would always be the last one I was waiting on to clear my financial spreadsheet for guys who owed me money. Being that I was very particular about making another move until I received every dollar that was owed to me from every worker, many times he would hold up my whole operation. His delayed payments would thus cause a chain reaction on my whole team, causing them to be on a standby while I waited on him to close out his tab so I could re-up. During those times, I needed that money right back from him so my team and I could continue to work and roll. I had a hard time cutting the guy off because I loved him like a brother for his loyalty. I continued to work with him, but only at certain times. I learned to not loan him or anyone else anything I needed right back. Not only was the soldier holding up the general, but he was holding up the whole army that was waiting on the general. If you need something right back, you might as well not loan it out. Consider that the person you give a loan to may pay you back, but if he or she doesn't pay you back quickly enough, it could have a negative impact on your business. What would be worse is if that person doesn't pay you back at all. When I think of wealthy financial institutions, the first place that comes to mind is the bank. The only way to have as much money as the bank is to think like the bank. Become the bank. Most banks are insured, and when they issue loans and front money out, they release it out with the contingency of payment plans, this plan that they don't need you to repay them back immediately. They also do this because it's how they make their money by charging you interest. Before they even give you a loan, they will first determine if you are eligible for one by reviewing your 3 C's. credit, collateral, and character. I say all of that to say this. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. If you want to have money like the bank has, think like the bank and become one by following the same methods and procedures. Call to action. Stop making business decisions based on emotional attachments. Take advantage of any position you are placed in to be the lender by adding tax and interest to your product or money. If giving a loan can hurt you more than benefit you,
what up, Justin, boy?
Did you know? If you are convicted of possessing or selling drugs, you will lose your eligibility for financial aid such as Pell Grants and student loans if you presently have a student loan. If you do not have a loan, then you do not lose your eligibility. Law number 17, stay low key. There is that maketh himself rich, yet have nothing. There is that maketh himself poor, yet have great riches. Proverbs 13:7. While working in the music industry as a rapper, I learned that some of the wealthiest people in the entertainment industry were the ones that nobody ever saw. While most of the attention is usually on the artist or entertainer, the people behind the scenes like the managers, producers, and publishers are staying low key out of the limelight, making the most money. Part of being successful includes being happy with what you have and not always trying to bring attention to yourself by keeping up with the status quo. You feel liberated when you stop competing and comparing, trying to be like someone else. Some people these days are buying expensive cars to impress people at a stoplight who they won't ever even meet. What's the logic in that? Don't drive yourself broke. In Texas, we call broke people who look like they have money and don't a person with a big hat and no cattle. Someone once asked me if I would rather be rich or famous. I certainly would choose to be rich because money can buy fame, but fame can't buy money. You have to be financially literate to make money and keep money. Fame won't do that for you. One of my favorite all-time movies is American Gangster, starring Denzel Washington playing the role of the great Frank Lucas. The movie portrays Lucas as being one of the biggest drug dealers in history, who was once a very successful man in his line of work. He went undetected in his business because, for the most part, he kept a low-key profile. In the American Gangster documentation of Frank Lucas, people described him as being a well-respected and feared man. They said they always knew and could feel Frank in the streets, but rarely would they catch a glimpse of him. In the movie, it wasn't until he showed up in a boxing match sitting on the front row with a flashy mink coat on did the feds point him out and begin investigating him.
Man,
Frank was so furious later on that his wife was buying him that coat and he burned it in a fireplace. He realized he had broken the law of staying low key.
48 laws of hustle.
If he had never worn that flashy and expensive coat out in a highly populated public event, he probably would have continued to successfully operate his business undetected. The best way to stay low key in your line of business is first and foremost, stay out of trouble. Don't bring any heat from the authorities to your name, your team, or any of the areas you operate in. The second best way to stay low key is to not be too flashy or flamboyant. We see it all the time. The first thing drug dealers tend to buy once they make the first little bit of money are flashy, depreciating items that have little or no value at all over a matter of time. I've been guilty of this common behavior as well before grasping a hold to the 48 laws of hustling. Lucrative spending is often spent on jewelry, flashy cars, rims, designer clothes, and putting music so loud in your car that you disturb the peace in every quiet neighborhood, practically asking for attention from the police to receive a citation. Real intelligent businessmen who are about their money do not carry on with this foolish type of behavior. They stay low-key, save for a rainy day, and turn their currency into assets, not liabilities. It doesn't matter what the trend may be. If you want to be successful in this game, you must learn how to think outside the box and not try to keep up with the status quo. I have nothing against a pair of 24 or 26-inch rims, a pair of Daytons or Ashantis, or a pair of Super Poker Glass 84s. The problem is that if you are riding like this without any sign of legal income, you don't need to worry about anybody snitching on you because you are silently snitching on yourself. It doesn't take flashy, depreciating items in society to be a man with power or swag. If you want to be a man with swag and power, pay attention to former President Barack Obama. That's a man with swag. Pay attention to successful people so that you can follow their footsteps and guidelines to get there. If Bill Gates walked in the room right now, some of you would not even recognize him. Put up for your come up and always stay low key. Call to action. Right now, I would like you to think of 5 NBA stars and 5 NFL stars. Write the names down if you would like, or just count them on your fingers. After you do that, think of 5 NBA team owners and 5 NFL team owners. Maybe some of you can do it, but the majority of you will not be able to. Even though the owners are wealthier than the players, you don't know their names because they're low-key status.
Okay, as much as I love
some people are so
basketball,
caught up with being seen that they lose focus on making a fortune just to
Man,
develop a
I
social
probably
status amongst
can,
their
but I ain't
peers.
trying to think.
Make sure you're not one of those people. Did you know, if you were at least
Yeah, I
18 when you
know.
committed the instant offense is a crime of violence or a controlled substance offense, and you have at least 2 prior felony convictions for crime of violence or controlled substance
Man, this
offenses,
nigga be
then
on
you
point.
are a career offender.
This is a real book.
Law
right
number
here.
18, keep an alias. When Jesus came into the coast of Caesarea Philippi,
For real.
he asked his disciples,
God.
saying, "Whom do men say that I the Son of Man am?" And they said, "Some say thou art John the Baptist, some say Elias, and others Jeremiah, or one of the prophets." Matthew 16, 13, 14.
You see,
The name my parents
I'm gonna
gave
tell
me.
you something, Miss C. The reason why I fuck with it, and because they gonna be like, yeah, he's glorifying the street. He's telling you how to. No, he not. He just feeling like giving you some game, and like he said, you wouldn't be able to get this game if you didn't pay for it. I paid for this book. You know what I'm saying? I paid for this shit. You know what I'm saying? But I felt like I was trying to tell somebody this shit, man. Like, lace y'all up, man. This guy's got some valuable points. And this is one of the most slow people, one of the most slow persons from Texas, though. What y'all be saying, people slow in Texas? Okay.
Is Ricky L. St. Julian.
Money
II,
ain't slow,
because
though.
I was named after my
I
father.
promise you that.
The name most people know me by through friendship, association, and music is Silk G. However, when I was in too deep in the game of criminal activity, my name could have been Silk G, Slick G, Slim,
And he
Lil
added
Man,
the
Big
Bible
Man,
into the
New
shit,
York,
too.
Black, Minnesota, or whatever the fuck I wanted it to be on a particular day, and depending on who I was doing business with or talking to. What difference did it make? My mission for conducting business was not to give people my autobiography, but it was to make some damn money. Many of the people you...
That nigga said, different deals, he might be a different person. This person might know me as T on this deal. This person might know me as BJ on this deal. This person might know me as Submade on this deal. Nigga. Certain people don't, it ain't for me, it ain't for you to get to know my background. It's for me to get the money and go. That's all.
become acquainted with in the game of hustling will probably be introduced to you by whatever nickname they have. Who is to say that the nickname they give you is even a real nickname? It might just be the name they prefer you to call them by. If you were to sell a confidential informant a kilo of cocaine with a Jason Halloween mask on and tell him your name is Freddie when your real name is Thomas Jenkins, who the fuck is he gonna tell on? It's gonna be pretty hard to convince a jury that he bought drugs from Thomas Jenkins when he doesn't even know who that is. Keep an alias. Writers, entertainers, and movie stars use them all the time. When writers and authors use an alias, they call them pseudonyms. When entertainers use an alias, they call them stage names. You may be wondering, if you weren't involved with any of the above mentioned hustles or professions, what would be the reason for using an alias in your line of business? I'll tell you why. For competition. Suppose you are a business owner and there are certain things about your business that customers don't like. The best way to solve the problem is to open another business to cater to their complaints under a different name. Now you will be monopolizing the market and competing against yourself, maximizing your profits. Who's better than the competition than yourself? It's a win-win situation. For years, there was a well-known DJ in Houston, Texas from the north side of Houston named DJ Michael Watts, who sold mixtapes. The consumers on the south side of Houston wouldn't buy his mixtapes because of feuds between the different sides of town during that time. But that didn't stop his hustle. DJ Michael Watts started putting out an alias on his mixtapes, and the consumers on the south side were buying his music without even knowing it was the same DJ. Some people prefer to shop at Target instead of Walmart because of the confident atmosphere that Target provides. But it's rumored that Walmart owns part of Target. It doesn't matter the name of the business, provider, or hustler. What matters is where and who the money goes to. Call to action. If you are already engaged in some type of business or hustle, the next time you conduct a transaction with 3 new clients, give each one of them a different name and pay attention that the names you give them will not have a profound impact on the business transaction. Giving them an alias will only provide a layer of protection for your true identity. Did you know? Everything in your indictment has to be correct in order to be convicted of the alleged crime, including your name. Law number 19. learn to negotiate. And I say unto you, ask, and it shall be given you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and that shall be open unto you. Luke 11:9. Negotiation is by far one of the most important and best skills that a person can learn in doing business. Remember, to be a successful hustler, you need to not only think as a hustler, but as a businessman. If you don't know what the word negotiate means, it simply means to bargain. Bargaining is when two parties bind themselves into the transfer of something for a specific consideration. The key to negotiating is making sure that everyone involved are equally content after making a deal. In order for this to happen, both parties involved must get something that they want. For example, if you are making a deal with another dealer and selling him a $30,000 product, it will be best to tell him you are selling it for $31,000. The other dealer will most likely try to convince you to sell it to him for $30,500. If he does, you will say yes because you are making more than you expected to in the first place. If he says no to $31,000 and you are the one who then suggests $30,500 and he still declines your offer, it still leaves you room to drop your price again to $30,000, which was your initial price to begin with. As long as you negotiate things to the point where everybody involved is happy with the deal and nobody takes a loss.
I'm gonna explain something to you. This ain't just in selling drugs. Say you want to sell a car. Say you want to sell a computer. Say you want to sell anything, your cell phone, anything. It's the same exact thing. That's why everything is hustling, bro. Everything is hustling. It's the same thing. So you use that same aspect on anything that you trying to sell. Like anything, bro. I don't give a damn if it's your girl selling weave or selling wigs or doing nails. It's the same thing, man.
You will always win financially and become an excellent negotiator along the way. When negotiating, always confer with the other party to arrive at the settlement of some matter. Avoid sarcasm. Avoid being cynical. Avoid looking down on people and treat everyone with dignity. Many people are too lazy to acquire the knowledge and facts that it takes to accurately think. Instead, they act on opinions, emotions, and quick judgments. Although this may work in your favor coming from the opposing party, it's essential that you think clearly while you negotiate and aren't merely guessing. If you find yourself doing numbers during a deal and mathematics isn't your strength, don't be too embarrassed to grab a calculator. Think your way to success. When you negotiate, don't be afraid to ask for what you want. Always do your homework and know when to walk away. You should aim high and expect the best outcome while focusing on the other person's pressure, not yours. Show the other dealer how his or her needs will be met and don't give anything away without getting something in return. Don't take the other person's negotiation tactics or behavior personally, and remember that almost everything is negotiable. Call to action. The next time you sell something, put a higher price on it than usual. Allow the other party to negotiate the price and see if you can get more for it than what you originally intended without going below your usual and normal price.
Well, just say that.
The next time you purchase something, negotiate the price and see if you can get it for cheaper than what's originally being asked. Did you know? When making a plea agreement, your role in the crime may be subject to negotiation. If you qualify for the mitigating factor of minor or minimal participation where more than one person was involved, it will result in a shorter sentence. Law number 20. Don't put all of your eggs in one basket. For whosoever hath, to him shall be given, and he shall have more abundance. But whosoever hath not, from him shall be taken away even that he hath. Matthew 13:12. Many entrepreneurs operate under corporations, and within those corporations, they have different brackets of businesses so that they don't depend solely on one source of income. This is what it means to not put all your eggs in one basket. Some hustlers are behind because they make the mistake of having only one particular product or service to sell as a source of income. To make matters worse, you might even observe these unseasoned hustlers walking around with a big stash of money, pulling it out their pockets like they're balling. In all reality, they know damn well if somebody was to hold them at gunpoint and take all of the money in their pocket, they wouldn't have anything else to fall back on. If you are a hustler with a big stash of cash, don't make the mistake of stashing all your money in one spot. Suppose someone robs you or the feds come to confiscate all of your money because of reasons to believe it was illegally gained. It would be wise to have that money spread out and stashed in many different locations so that if you take a loss, you won't lose everything you have put your hustle and muscle into. Don't depend solely on one source of revenue from the game, because no thing is for certain in the business of hustling. Once you make some money, don't just stash it, but put it back in the game from a different angle and make the money work for you. The same way I advise you to spread out the money you stash, I equally advise you to spread out whatever service or product you provide to the game for the same reasons. Before Donald Trump was president, he was also an American business magnate, investor, television personality, and author who developed the Trump Tower, which is a 58-story mixed-use skyscraper located in Midtown Manhattan. The penthouse included in the tower cost $100 million alone, but guess what? If for some disastrous reason Donald Trump lost that tower, he would still be rich because he knows better than to put all his eggs in one basket. He has many more buildings in New York, some in Chicago, and his net worth is steadily rising. Call to action. Start making an effort today to stop putting all your eggs in one basket by taking an amount of money you have and spread it out in different locations. Did you know? If you are indicted, federal agents will do their best to seize all of your money and or assets, either by forfeiting them to the government or confiscating it themselves. Law number 21. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. When Jesus heard it, he said it to them. They that are whole have no need of the physician, but they that are sick. I came not to call the righteous, but sinners to repentance. Mark 2:17. Think of the 4 seasons: autumn, winter, spring, and summer. All of them work in perfect harmony without anybody or anything making any changes. They come exactly at the times they are supposed to come. We don't have to try and fix it just so the seasons can be more fulfilling or convenient for us. How would you feel if you were on an airplane and all of a sudden the pilot decided to land just to paint the airplane? You would probably be irate that he's stopping the flow of your travel to fix something that's not broke. It's the same way with business. Why would you change something that doesn't need to be changed? Especially if it's been working for you. The person who takes no chances usually never excels. But the person who takes too many unnecessary chances is even more prone to fail. If something is working for you, stick with it. It seems like every time I was rolling good in the game, I would fuck up by trying something or somebody new.
Yeah.
Maybe it was because of having a huge heart, a mind frame of a millionaire to take risks, or just want to make bigger and better connections amongst my business affiliates to expand our overall business. Whatever the case may be, I fucked up every time trying to fix something that wasn't broke. If I would have just been patient and let things flow the way they were, I would have not encountered so many losses and problems. Every hustler loves to make fast money. After all, that's one of the biggest benefits of hustling. However, you must always remember that all money is not good money. As a matter of fact, slow money is better than no money. And sometimes your slow money is your for show money. Not having patience and being too greedy can ruin the for sure things that you have already established. The seed of patience may seem bitter, but it always produces sweet fruit. In no way at all am I suggesting that you don't expand what you have started. But you must be careful and move with strategic caution when you set out to make power moves so that it doesn't have a negative effect on what you have already accomplished and established. A mentor of mine used to tell me all the time that I could run around hustling 100 miles per hour all I wanted, but I wasn't going to get the breaks I wanted until it was meant for me to get it. What is destined for you to receive in life is already set in stone for an appointed time.
That's what people don't
You will receive it when the time is ready, as long as you're doing your part.
Time.
But don't try to fix what's not broken. Learn the law of recognition.
When it's your
Recognize
time.
when you already have everything.
When it's your time, man. When it's your time, dad. I know a motherfucker can't talk about me when they say I be jealous or I be a hater. Man, listen, man, it ain't. I don't trip on it ain't being my time. I'm gonna keep grinding. You get what I'm saying? And then when my time came, shit, it is what it is. Nigga, like, it wasn't my time. You know? Like, people not understanding that shit, bro. You can't beef your way into your time. Try to beef some content into your time or something. Man, that shit don't work, fool. It works sometimes. That shit don't work, fool, for regular people, fool. Like, bro, put out good content. Trust in yourself. Go harder than other people. I know it don't be a competition, but I be trying to work harder, fool, than some niggas. I do. I try to work harder than the next. You know, that's the competition I'm in. Let's see if you can work harder than me.
you need in life and nourish it and watch it grow. Call to action. Look around you today and think of 10 things or people who you are grateful for. Write it down if you have to. Give thanks for these things and people and recognize the importance of their existence to help you succeed. Allow these things and people to work with you and assist you in harmony. Don't try to fix them. You are grateful for them for a reason. Let them be. Did you know? Between 1980 and 2001, there was no real change in the chance of being arrested in response to a complaint. The rate was just under 50%. But the likelihood that an arrest will result in imprisonment more than doubled from 13 to 28%. Law number 22. Stay up, but stage your fall. For the just man falleth 7 times and riseth up again, but the wicked shall fall into mischief. Proverbs 24:16. People who would like to see you fall or fail at the things you are trying to accomplish are not rare. Don't take it personal, but instead, have an understanding attitude enough to balance the playing field by being in control at all times. No matter what it is that you are doing, if you don't have any haters, then you're probably not doing enough. Allow haters to be your motivators. I really can't be mad at someone who is jealous of me because I have more than they do or doing a better job than they are. Maybe they want to see me fail because they feel inferior. Maybe they haven't discovered the keys to success yet and are just agitated with life.
Did I just
Whatever
say
their
that?
problem isn't my problem. It's theirs. However, just to keep your conscience satisfied and to keep a hater's negative energy in your control, sometimes it's good to pretend that they are getting what they want by staging your own downfall. When you're up, it's hard to see who your real friends are because everyone wants to be around you. But when you're down, you realize who really has your back. Make a supreme effort to take control of your life. Even when you observe negativity and become aware of people who want to see you fail and don't have your best interests at heart, only store positive thoughts in your memory bank as you dismiss them from your life. We all learn in different ways. The only way to get a balanced view of the people around you during hard times without actually experiencing hard times is to stage your hard times. If you wouldn't buy a car without test driving it first, then why would you get deeply involved with people in business or relationships without testing their character first in your time of need? When I was younger, I had an older hustler give me some advice and he told me that every now and then I needed to throw a wrench in the game. I was clueless to what he meant at the time, so I asked him to explain what he was talking about. He said that whether you like it or not, some people are always plotting and hoping for you to fail. Since you already know this, every now and then you should give them what they want to comfort their envy and jealousy.
Right.
For example, whenever you are around a group of your so-called homeboys or business associates, show a little aggravation and tell them you are pissed off for losing a bunch of money in a dice game somewhere or a poker table at the casino. Whenever you are around a girlfriend, tell her that you took a huge financial loss in your line of business some kind of way. Every now and then, lead people around you to believe that you took a large loss somewhere somehow and play that shit out so seriously that they actually believe you. Hopefully, you will really be up when you stage these events and you don't take a loss for real. That would take the magic out of being in control. Although, you must play the events out as if they really happened. It will do a number of things. Number one, it will make those who are jealous and envious of you back away with that negative energy because they will feel a sense of happiness for your loss. Number two, it will reveal who really has your back and who you can count on when you take a loss. Last but not least, hopefully it will give those who always have their hand out every day want something for nothing reason back the fuck up and stop begging.
Let's go.
Don't feel guilty when you throw a wrench in the game because you must remember that certain events are really capable of happening. And if they do, you need to know how the people around you will respond. Call to action. As you go through life today, come up with a story to tell your so-called friends and or business associates about a financial loss. Take note of the different reactions and responses you receive so that you may be able to weed out the sincere relationships you have from the synthetic ones. Did you know, nationally, over 7 million children have at least one parent in jail or prison? Law number 23. Keep squares in your corner, but out your circle.
The
effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. James 5:16. If you are a bad boy, and the only people you associate yourself with are other bad boys, I strongly urge you to stop being small-minded and get acquainted with some new comrades and associates. Preferably a few squares. Expand your network. You never know who you might need in a game of hustling. Just because you know a few squares doesn't mean you have to hang out with them on a regular basis and become one. Although, make no mistake to realize that it's fair to be square sometime. Even if you are in some form involved with a prohibited type of hustle, it doesn't hurt you to know and be able to call a few law-abiding citizens with normal jobs who are living a healthy, ordinary lifestyle. I'm sure that it will even help you in the future much more than it will harm you. However, just because you associate with a few squares, you still should avoid putting them all in your mix and exposing them to your immediate lifestyle as a hustler. Everything is not for everybody. It would not be a good idea to take one of your square associates into a high-risk environment. Just because you are cool, confident, and comfortable in a strip club doesn't mean that your square associate will be the same way. Some people are just not accustomed to a certain lifestyle in certain situations. Just because a square is in your corner, that doesn't mean that you have to put them in your circle. Suppose you are in a situation as a hustler and some gangster shit pops off. You will most likely want to call the gangsters who are in your immediate circle, but not a square. On the other hand, one day some legal problems may arise, and then you will need to call one of your square friends, who is maybe a bondsman, lawyer, or even a judge. There may come a day when you need to purchase a home. Wouldn't it be magnificent to know a realtor or banker who has all the direct connections to make it happen? There are all types of people who have absolutely no business in your circle or personal business as a hustler, but their relationships will be of great value to you outside the circle of hustling. Learn to communicate with a diverse group of people. Don't be a prejudiced or biased hustler. Being open-minded will take you to a more elevated level of success than having a closed mind amongst a limited network of hustlers who all share the same things in common. Call to action. Be open-minded. Make a conscious effort every week to have lunch with a square and get to know them personally without putting them in your business as a hustler. Did you know the United States has the highest density of lawyers of any country, a percentage per capita that exceeds any other country by at least 60%. Law number 24, keep your word. A good name is better than a precious ointment, and the day of death than the day of one's birth. Ecclesiastes 7:1. In the movie Scarface, Tony Montana said, "All I have in this world is my balls and my word, and I'm not gonna break them for nobody." Those infamous words from the young Cuban immigrant was everything that the drug overlord Sosa needed to hear to place his confidence in the ambitious hustler. In life, a man is only as valuable as his word. Word is bond. Keeping your word is not something that everyone does. When someone keeps their word, it not only shows that they have upstanding character, but it defines them as a person of integrity. After all, integrity is basically doing the right thing because it's just the right thing to do. When you have it, you do it even when nobody is looking. I'm the type of person that if I tell you there's cheese on the moon, you better grab a cracker. Basically, if I say that I'm gonna do something, then you can bet your ass that it's gonna get done. I'm pretty certain that I maintained and made all my connections in my lifetime by keeping my word. If I'm not sure of something, I would not make a vow. I'm not going to make any broken promises, no matter how infinitesimal it may seem. Some people may find it a difficult task to keep it real with others to this extent because they have not yet learned to keep it real with themselves. If you want to keep your word with others, you must first keep your word with yourself. You cannot go through life lying to yourself about what you will and won't do and think that it won't have an impact on your success. Many times we tell ourselves that we will do something and don't do it and feel it's okay to break our word because nobody will know but us. The problem with this is that it becomes habit forming, and then you expect others to accept your shortcomings the same way that you embrace them. There have been times when I didn't have $1 to my name, but I had something just as valuable. I had my word, and just like my boss, I wasn't gonna break my word. Still to this day of the publishing of this book, I still have my word in good standing with any and everybody I have ever done business with, and I still have my balls. When your word is good as gold, you can always use it as a bargaining tool to come up again on any given day. Make the decision to keep your word impeccable. Most people who don't succeed in life have every excuse in the world to back up their failures. Excuses are monuments of the incompetent. Those who dwell within them will settle for anything. If you say you're gonna do something, do it. Don't make any excuses. The more successful a person is, you will find it inclined that person is to make excuses. Ray Charles could have made an excuse not to play the piano because he was blind, but he didn't. Barack Obama could have made an excuse not to run for president because he was black, but he didn't. Kennedy may have said he couldn't be president because he was too young, but he didn't. Martin Luther King Jr. had plenty of excuses he could have used to start shooting a gun and result of violence, but he didn't. All of these are examples of great people who put their mind on something they said they would do, and they followed through with their word without making any excuses to not follow through. In life, there are not any ties. You either win or you lose. Losers don't keep their word. Winners do. Develop the qualities within yourself that will make you a winner. Call to action. Think of something that you have been telling yourself for a while now that you wanted to do. Write it down. Now think of something that you have been telling someone else that you was going to do for them. Write it down. If you haven't grabbed a writing utensil and wrote it down yet, then you are not ready for the next part of this call to action. Now here's the next part. Do whatever it is that you wrote down today. At least get started on it. Did you know? It is quite common to find inmates in federal prison who are there because of the false testimony of a convicted felon who is trying to get a sentence reduction. Drug agents themselves will even fake investigative reports and give false testimony to make sure their target is convicted.
So we're gonna stop it at 48. 24, and I'm gonna come back in the morning and I'm gonna fuck with it. We gonna start from there, man. That nigga kicking some game, nigga. These young niggas so stupid. They don't read. Man, you can learn a lot, boy. You can learn a lot. You could learn a dang lot, man. It's been a good show, man. I just feel like I had to share that with y'all. I don't care what nobody got to say. Man, you got to know this, man. All right, you got to know this, dog. Like, that shit is for real. Let me get us a jam plugged up real fast. And then we're gonna get up out of here, man. Get this shit queued up real fast. Man, that nigga was saying some real stuff, boy. Boys better listen, man. Listen. That stuff about your house. About, man, you could incorporate that same stuff in business, man. People better understand, man. It's real out here. Real.
Dolphin Lewis told me something, Double O. That nigga told you. The worst thing he ever did was smoke a rock.
Go.
You don't want to fuck with that shit, cause I be hiding in the cost of life, nigga. It's all good, baby. Life ain't nothing but a game. So far I've been a ghetto prisoner, pimp player and the hustler. Trust no buster, straggly struggler, drug smuggler. Keeping shit up on the DL, cause all a nigga wanna do is stack some mail. Hit a looking bad. If I slip, I fail. I stay mad at the world, bitch.
Can't you tell?
Me nugging, really don't wanna be thugging. This world ain't got no love in all.
I ain't got none either.
Misdemeanor crime, niggas be doing time. In the county, got my face posted for the bounty. But the world is trying to kill me dead. I ain't scared, but when the motherfuckers catch me, I'll be rolling fed. My eyes are bloodshot red. I smoke weed, yes indeed, it keeps me going. A hoopin's what I show them. They label me a thug, and every day I show no love up in this game. I stand by myself, fuck the fame. I'm hustling, every night I'm hustling. Killing to these cluckers, this world ain't got no loving.
You gon' have to feel me, either that or kill me. I'm mad at the world. Every day I'm hustling, every night I'm hustling.
Killing to these cluckers, this world ain't got no loving.
You gon' have to feel me,
Either that or kill me.
I'm mad at the world.
I'm broke, but I'm hustling. I'm stacking mail like the mailman. Can't you see me rolling in my dropper? At the record shopper, fuck the cookie copper. 00 motherfucking 7. The Loud Street dweller, the Loud Street killer. Never drinking Miller Wiser, make me wiser when you try to approach. Smoking hella weed, guaranteed to make you choke. Down with Red Dog, driving hogs, bitch. I thought you knew about that. My crew be hella fat, fucking with the window sex.
Super smoke dot, super low dot, creeping through your neighborhood, nigga on my rock, cause the flavor's good. Lounge street food, don't forget get it. Cause niggas in my hood making that grip, we got to straight them up, get with it. It ain't no room for no punk, so get your ass on. I thought you knew up in my hood, we get that blast on. It ain't no slipping when you tripping and smoking up on that dip. And when you moving slow, them niggas finna up that money clip up on your ass. Cause it seems that you a fiend, but in my hood, we duck them laws and make that money and keep our hands clean. I got a war, but they can't find me. Sweating like a motherfucker, blowing up the stick with the laws right behind me. Niggas can't catch the dick. Oh, motherfucking G, I'm about to make it in this game, you see.
Every night I'm hustling, giving to these cluckers. This world ain't got no love. You gon' have to feel me, either that or kill me. I'm mad at the world cause I'm broke, but I'm hustling. Every day I'm hustling, every night I'm hustling, giving to these cluckers. This world ain't got no love. You gon' have to feel me, either that or kill me. I'm mad at the world cause I'm broke, but I'm hustling.
What ain't about that dope house blasting? The niggas was trying to kill me, but the MOZs I had them on acid. Fuck, hit they cuts for some action. The gang showed me love and let me back in. Bought a Glock and set up shop and started to stack. Behind the tree, I kept a Mac 10. But the cocksucking law when they came harassing. Trying to keep a nigga down to his last end. All in for the thrill I'm making. These so-called killers faking, tasking stretched out. When I pull this fucking tech out.
Now back in my hood, it ain't shit to come up on the G right fast and put a foot in a nigga's ass. Spend every single dime on 56 grams and watch the cookie man pop up and flip a gram. Shit, and watch this 2 street hustler straight get his game on the slang rocks and pack a Glock on another buster's block. Say your drama for your motherfucking mama. I'ma push way from here to the Bahamas and live like a hustler.
Every night I'm hustling, getting to these clubs. This world ain't got no love. You gon' have to feel me, either that or kill me. I'm mad at the world cause I'm broke, but I'm
Status Bell Harbor, I bought Lennox Mall for my brothers. Hold your bag, tote the cutter, I got it out the field, fuck Russell. Going ass Lori about the paddock, and going ass Jordan, ass dead. For leak water, trying to drown a bitch, just a habit, tricking on a bitch. Shit, I'm thinking I'm clipping a pimp. Shit, I'm cooking up dope like a dump. Shit, that girlfriend's gon' sit nigga trim. Shit, I'm floating them out in the blimp. Shit, it look like I'm swimming in glass. Shit, I turn on my bitch cause she bad. Shit, I'm making my ex nigga mad. Shit, they go for that coming for man. Real nigga learn them, wearing a bag. Piping a bitch and they nail like I can. Turn up the shooters with switches go bad. They was some scammers, but no was some pain. Trapping no rapping, my dog, he fall off. No capping, no bound.